time management can be a challenge for everyone, including students, professionals, and adults. This video reveals the top 5 time management mistakes that students make and what you should do instead. Hi, I'm Katie Azevedo from SchoolHabits.com. I'm a private executive function coach who teaches students and professionals strategies to learn and work better. Please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and follow me over on Instagram. And let's get into this. Now, the following is a list of the top 5 time management mistakes that I've seen thousands of students make over my 17 plus years of teaching. Yeah, that is a long time, and that is a lot of students. To get the most of this video, I want you to be honest with your assessment of your time management skills so that you can figure out what areas to focus on. As we go through each of these time management mistakes, I want you to ask yourself, is this me? Is this what I'm doing? And then the solutions that I provide, I want you to try them. Like, not think to yourself, oh, that could be a good idea. Let me just put that on my list of things to do. I want you to make the change, okay? That's how we improve. We have to do something different than what we're currently doing. So let's dive in. Time management mistake number 1 is not having total clarity. Every good time management system, whether you're a student or a working professional, starts with total clarity in 2 areas. Number 1, how much time you have available, and number 2, what needs to get done in that time. We drastically overestimate how much available time we have to do things, and we drastically underestimate the amount of things that we have to do. If you're a student, you need to get absolutely clear on how much free time you have after school, or if you're in college, in between classes, to work on your schoolwork. That includes, reading, homework, studying, things like that. You probably have less time than you think. Now, to do this, I want you to take out a weekly calendar. You can do this on Google Calendar. If you're digital, you can do it on a piece of paper. I have a Simply Weekly Time Plan template for free in the description box, and I'll leave that link below. It's perfect for what I'm going to ask you to do here. And this is what I want you to do. Number 1, block out all your school hours or the time that you're in class. Number 2, block out all your meal times. Number 3, block out activities and commute time around each activity. Number 4, block out your bedtime. What's left is how much time you really have throughout the week to accomplish all your things. Proper time management for students involves getting real about this number. So in the description box, remember, there is a link to a free template that you can use for this step. Also in the description box is my complete tutorial for how to use Google Calendar as a student. In that, I have a more detailed breakdown of exactly how to do this digitally, if that's what you want to do. Time management mistake number 2 is being half focused while studying. I studied for hours but still failed. Honestly, I hear some variation of this at least a couple times a week. First of all, studying for hours at a time is a bad idea. You should be studying in short intervals over a period of several days using the highly effective study strategy of spaced repetition. Second of all, and you might not like to hear this, but studying, reading, writing essays, doing that cognitively demanding work takes effort and concentration. Like, it is hard. It is uncomfortable. Yes, there is something way more interesting on your phone or on Netflix or with your friend. But if you're always stressed about time management and you feel like you're running out of time and you never have enough time to do the things, then you've got to get real. You've got to get rid of your distractions. The more distracted you are while studying, the less you learn and the more time you waste. And then you wonder why you studied for hours but still didn't do well. The answer is that in reality, you didn't study for hours. Like, you may have between the hours of 4 and 7, assumed the position of a student who is studying, but if you were time-lapse what you were doing in those 3 hours, checking your phone, Googling something, getting up, getting a snack, just sort of zoning out as you were reading, but the amount of time that you actually spent locked in, no chance it was 3 hours. So here are some tips to increase your focus while you study. Number 1, know how long you will study for and give yourself a definite stopping point. Number 2, put the phone in another room, not upside down next to you, but in a completely different room. Number 3, avoid music with words. If you have to listen to music while you're studying, choose instrumental music. The language and the words from lyrical music competes with the language of what you're reading or you're writing or you're studying, so you don't want to do that to yourself. Number 4, take breaks. Study for no more than 45 to 60 minutes without a short break. Number 5, have a plan. If you don't know exactly what you're doing in a homework or a study session, your brain will absolutely find something better to focus on. Go into each study session knowing exactly what you plan to work on. I have a free study plan template for you in the description box where you're watching this video. Number 6, put yourself in the right environment. You know this. Get out of bed, get off the couch, find a legitimate place to work, and take it seriously. Imagine how ridiculous it would be for a doctor trying to perform surgery in a gym. You studying in bed is just as ridiculous. Our environments must match the work we're doing. Time management mistake number 3 is doing too much. All of the time management strategies in the world will never work if you just literally have too much on your plate. If you go through the exercise that I want you to do in time management mistake number 1 with Google Calendar or with, a weekly calendar, and you're identifying your free time, and after you do that, you find that your list of things to do just does not fit into that free time that's available, then you have to do fewer things. We can't invent time, so the only solution there is to do fewer things. And I know some of us don't like to hear that. I wouldn't have liked to have heard that when I was, a kid or a student. But I wish someone told me that it was okay to do fewer things. More is not always better. Despite the fact that many students pile on a ton of activities to try to boost their college applications, or if you're already in college, trying to get yourself involved in this and that to try to make yourself more marketable for a job, that's not always the best route. No, a healthy student with a reasonable amount of activities makes a much better college applicant or job applicant than an overwhelmed, overbusy, unhealthy student who's unable to commit to the activities that she committed to. Time management mistake number 4 is not planning long-term projects right. Not planning long-term projects is a super common time management mistake, but it's one that has huge consequences. Long-term projects are anything that's writing papers, doing research, preparing for presentations, studying for tests, anything that has multiple steps that's due more than, I'd say, 3 days away, 3 to 4 days away. Good time management for long-term projects means you break down the large project into a series of steps. If you don't do this, you'll end up overwhelmed, procrastinating, doing things last minute. Now, once you break a large project into smaller steps, each of those steps becomes a homework assignment that goes in your calendar, that goes in your homework agenda. And then you complete these smaller steps at a reasonable rate over a reasonable amount of time. So if you have a giant research paper due on Friday and it's Monday, you don't just say, on your assignment notebook, do research paper. Well, what's the first step of that? Break it down, find a topic, find sources, develop a thesis, write an outline, write your first paragraph. I just randomly came up with 5 steps right off the top of my head. Each of those would become its own individual step that you would find a time slot on your calendar so that you can do it without being overwhelmed. This is classic time management. And if you can get a grasp on this while you're a student, when you have those long-term projects, when you're in the working world, oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how much easier your life will be. You've got to trust me. This is a skill that get it right now, lock it in now, and then when you're older, you're gonna be like, wow, I have my life together. Anyway, break your long-term projects into small steps, you'll be good. Time management mistake number 5 is underestimating how long reading and studying really takes. As I explained in time management mistake number 1, we are notoriously inaccurate when estimating how long something can take us. If you have ADHD, then this is going to be even more of a challenge for you. Now, the 2 areas where student time estimations tend to be the most accurate are studying and reading. Reading and studying take way longer than we ever expect them to, and probably way longer than you want to admit to. So when you're planning your day and your week, you gotta make sure that you allot enough time in your daily schedule for these activities. If not, you're gonna run out of time, which is gonna make you stressed and overwhelmed. Now, what's tough is mentally we consider studying and reading not real homework because they're not submittable. They're not something you're, turning into your teacher, but they still consume time and they still need to get done. Additionally, if you're on like a learning management system like Canvas, Google Classroom, something like that, right? Then oftentimes teachers aren't assigning these things as assignments with due dates because they're just like expecting that you're doing the reading, and they might post that there's a test on Friday, but they're not, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday assigning that you're studying for the test. It's the expectation that that's what you're doing. Okay, so it's on you to be like, okay, I have a test on Friday, or I have like 3 chapters due on Friday. I need to schedule these non-submittable things in my assignment notebook, on my calendar, and they take time. So how do you schedule enough time for reading and studying? I want you to try this. First tip, get a sense of how long it takes you to read different types of material. For example, if you're reading Beloved in English class, time yourself reading 10 pages. From that point on, use that baseline time to estimate how long it'll take you to do your nightly reading assignments. Tip 2, do the same for textbook reading. So you would time yourself reading 1 or 2 pages of your textbook, and then use that as a baseline to estimate how long your nightly reading assignments will take you. Studying is different. Instead of estimating how long it will take you to study, I want you to plan how much time you will study. Again, there's a free study planner in the description box of this video. I want you to plan your study sessions to be between 25 and 60 minutes. Now listen, all students and professionals and adults and me make time management mistakes. It's just like what we do. The issue isn't the occasional day when you misjudge your time, or time got away from you, or you got distracted, or you procrastinated because you were a real human for a day, okay? That's not what I'm talking about here. The real issue is when we make these mistakes over and over and over again, and we don't learn from them, and we don't make adjustments, and they begin impacting our mental health and how we're spending our time and our confidence and our grades, okay? That's when we have a problem. But managing time, yeah, it can be a challenge, it can take effort, and checking into yourself, and sometimes introspection is hard and all that, but it's not impossible. It's so doable. Managing time is so doable. You gotta trust me. At the end of the day, it comes down to math. How much time do you have? How many things do you have to do? Do they match? Okay, and if they don't, do less things or become more efficient with what you're doing. In addition, it comes down to some good planning and some radical acceptance that hard things won't kill us. As always, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching.